Well, Sixers fans, a win is a win, I guess. I think it's good news that it counts the same if we blew the Magic out or if we ugly, barely beat a team that we should be beating by 20. The 4-17 Orlando Magic come into town and Franz Wagner drops 27 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists on our heads. He looked like this dude right here behind me with a little couple shades of this guy over here. Franz Wagner picked apart the Sixers defense and just absolutely went to work all night long. Good news though, guys. There is a bright spot, and that bright spot is that Franz Wagner is on my fantasy team. So well done, Wagner, and to still get the loss, we like that. But this was just an ugly game up and down. Most of the guys on the Sixers just didn't look good, but at the end of the day, we win the game. I think Philadelphia could look back at this game and be like, this is a game where we could have lost, but let's try and work a little bit harder. I think the Sixers are definitely tired coming back from that game in Minnesota, or against Minnesota, I should say, and they just didn't look good. They shot worse from the field than Orlando. They shot worse at the free throw line than Orlando, and they made 2 more threes than the Orlando Magic. And let me add, the Orlando Magic have got to be the worst three-point shooting team in the NBA, because that first quarter, they hit they were wide open 9 threes in a row, and it was just brick, brick, brick. They were building neighborhoods with the amount of bricks they were just saucing up. It was ugly in that first quarter, and it's really disheartening that this team didn't just blow out Orlando when they had the shot. The third quarter was disgusting. We gave up 35 points to an offense led by Franz Wagner and Jalen Suggs. I mean, don't get me wrong, those kids are good. They're going to be good. But, dude, we have the likes of Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, Tobias Harris, and we just didn't really look good. I think we have a lot to owe Seth Curry. I mean, he looked good. He shot the ball well. He was creating his own baskets. He has a nice floater lately. It's been looking good. He created a lot of opportunities for Philadelphia. But outside of that, man, we didn't have many individual performances that we could hang our hat on and be proud of. Tyrese had, 11 points, 9 assists, 7 rebounds. Almost a triple-double, tied his career high in assists. But, the shot wasn't falling. He was deferring a lot to Tobias Harris in the fourth quarter, and you guys know that. I just hate that idea. I think Tyrese Maxey could have had a better game if a couple of rolls went his way, so I'm not even going to knock Tyrese. Embiid didn't shoot the ball very well. He looked pretty sluggish, but he kind of does look a little slimmer. I don't know if that's just me or he kind of looks a little bit skinnier, and so maybe he can stay in shape a little bit better than he would normally do. Embiid didn't play great, but he had a couple big stops down the end of the fourth quarter, and he just whatever. I'm not worried about Embiid. I'm not worried about Tyrese Maxey. Tobias Harris on the other end just did not play good basketball. And I've always been a supporter of Tobias Harris. I've always been a guy who is you can't trade him, one, because not many teams are going to give you the value you're looking for, and number two, he's one of our more consistent players usually. But he's looked bad. I don't love his fit with Tyrese Maxey. I don't love the fact that he can't knock down an open shot to save his life. He seems like he's a run stopper. I mean, which is ironic because we signed the guy to be a run stopper of the other team's runs, and in turn he seems to be stopping our runs. Not a great trade-off there. He just hasn't looked very good. His shot's not been falling. I think if there's a chance to move him during the deadline near to it, I think Morey has to be willing to, because it just doesn't seem like it's going to work out in Philadelphia. And I'm not just jumping out on an edge and saying this based off of one performance. This has been a culmination of thoughts for me now for a couple of weeks, and that leads me to Furkan Korkmaz, guys. He has got to be the worst player on this NBA team that gets minutes. He is absolutely atrocious. If I see this man airball one more wide open 3 from the corner, I'm going to lose my shit. He is the worst. He does absolutely nothing to make our team better. I think he had 2 points tonight, and it was a layup, and he bricked everything. He had 3 wide open 3-pointers in the first quarter, and he missed. Just like that. He is been awful. And I've been seeing on Twitter like, oh, what's wrong with his shot? What's going on with Furkan? He's had it, blah, blah, blah. Bro, what? This is him. This is who he is. What we are seeing him now is what I have been saying he is for the last 3 years now. He is not a good basketball player. Defensively, he's unplayable because he is a complete mismatch every single time down the court. He can't create his own shot, and yet he thinks he's a shot creator. The fact that Doc puts him down as a backup point guard sometimes is infuriating because it shows you how much lack of depth we have at the backup position at the point guard. It's disgusting. It's literally disgusting. If I see Furkan Korkmaz dribble the basketball one more time, I am going to die. Like, truly, I cannot watch him play basketball anymore. He thinks he is so much better than himself, and he's not. He's really a borderline NBA player at this point. He's shooting under 30% from three. He's shooting under 40% from the field as a whole this year. What does he do, guys? Like, seriously, what do you like him? Why do you like him? What is it about him that you think is valuable to have on the team? I will wait for as long as I have to wait to hear an answer because there is no answer. He just isn't a good basketball player anymore. He never has been, and I've always been preaching that. And cool. He had 2 weeks to start the season where he could make a jump shot. But guess who's back to his regular form? Furkan Korkmaz. I will never make an apology video to him because he is sincerely the worst player on the Sixers team. I would be giving every single one of his minutes, his seconds, his milliseconds to Isaiah Joe. Because at least Isaiah Joe has a good jump shot. At least you know he's not going to do too much. And he can stand behind the three-point line and make a three-point shot. Furkan Korkmaz, on the other end, I can't say a good thing about him. I really can't. No. I'm trying to find a positive on him, but there's nothing. He does nothing well on a basketball court. And a lot of you guys are going to hate me for it. A lot of you guys constantly do hate me for it, but he just isn't good. He really isn't good. His plus minus, I'm not looking at it, but I promise you it's one of the worst on the team tonight. He got cooked every single time he was on the defensive end. Don't get me wrong, Franz Wagner had a great game. The Orlando Magic are a young team. I don't know if they're going to be a good team anytime soon. I mean, they're 4-18 and they're missing their best player, Cole Anthony, and yet they can still come into Philadelphia and go toe-to-toe, wire-to-wire, and barely lose a game to a team who is with championship aspirations. And I think that kind of puts this past couple of weeks into perspective for Sixers fans that there is a move that is 100% necessary for this team to contend, because what this is right now is not a good enough group of guys. They play hard. I like this team as a whole a lot, but it's just not good enough. Our offense is so stagnant at all times when Maxey is off the court and when Embiid's off the court. And even when Embiid's on the court sometimes, it just looks so stagnant. It's like we just give the ball to him and then everyone just stands still. Dude, can we please have some off-ball motion for once? Matisse Thybulle seems like he's the only guy sometimes actually trying to cut. And then when we have our backup five in, because Doc Rivers loves rolling out a 13-man rotation, and when we have our backup five in, when Shake Milton has the ball, it's literally Shake Milton versus 5 players because we have 4 other guys just standing outside the three-point line and Andre Drummond clogging the lane, and we are just expected to have a good offensive possession. Doc, buddy, that's not how basketball works. We need to have some type of offensive synchronization and just some type of movement, but nobody does anything on the offensive end. And then there's 6 seconds left and Shake Milton has to create a shot out of absolutely nothing. No wonder it's not going in every time. Shake he's just a deer in headlights at a point where we're asking him to control the team's offense when everybody is stuck inside of the lane or out the three-point line standing still. I mean, it is disgusting. It really is. Our offense is so bad sometimes, and I see all the statistics of, our offensive rating is this and that, and yeah, dude, it was good for a while. We got really, really hot. We had a couple really, really good games, but lately it has been ugly. Really, really ugly. And when Embiid isn't making shots, example tonight, our offense just doesn't look like it's knowing what it's doing, because guess what, guys? Doc is absolutely no idea what's going on sometimes. The fact that Furkan Korkmaz has gone the last 2 weeks without making a single shot and Isaiah Joe logged 0 minutes tonight, I cannot believe it. I simply cannot understand it. I can't fathom it. It makes no sense to me. Why is it that Philadelphia just cannot get a good enough coach to understand the personnel well enough to play the right guys at the right time to avoid unnecessary runs by the other team in the third quarter? I don't get it, man. But hey, a win's a win. Peace.